DC here. Hi, guys and gals. Well, it's Saturday, and just come back from geocaching with Mrs. DC. We've had a really nice day out. Yeah. And I am enjoying. Actually, it's a Guinness, which I have in there, but it's in a Beamish glass. Beamish is or used to be a cork beer. You can still get it around there. It's not made in the same, whatever. Anyway, it's still nice. No, what I was going to say is, as many companies, it's been taken over, I believe, from some bigger brewery. Eventually, even Heineken or something like that. Yeah, a lot of the local stuff. That's one thing actually that was probably going to be a little bit a subject of the vlog, is that how many of what we would call the local landmarks are now actually only local in the name, but not anymore actually by the company. Yeah, I mean, so many companies, for example, here in Switzerland, like Toblerone, Ovaltine as we call it here, Ovaltine, others have just simply been bought out. Vlogger's itch. I'm starting to believe that is really, really true every time. And there's something to say about that globalization. Free trade sure makes things in a way easier. And at the same time, what does it kill? You gotta kind of question those things. I mean, I can kind of get the Brexit thing when you start thinking about it in that line. I mean, there's other ways of looking at it. I mean, which you're going to say, okay, you might be closing borders. Yeah, I guess so. But what are you looking for? I'm not trying to be an economist. I'm not trying to even be a politician or a philosopher. But there is something that is sad, in a way, when you start losing those real landmarks, trademarks, which were yours, and now actually belong to somebody else. And you just feel like it's a fake when you buy it now. I mean, like, everybody loves the Toblerone, for example, and they will say, oh, it's Swiss chocolate. And actually, as far as I know, it is still made in Switzerland, but the profits are going into somebody else's pockets. I don't know. We have I think I talked about that once, this thing that we call the Swissness, which basically goes on about, ingredients. It's a label where ingredients have to be Swiss to be able to call it Swiss. And there's a few notable exceptions, like, for example, coffee, because we don't have coffee beans, and chocolate, believe it or not. I mean, here we are going on about Swiss chocolate, and the greatness of Swiss chocolate, we don't have cocoa beans. So, there's something about that. It's kind of funny. I was talking with somebody not too long ago about Swiss watches, and there's a lot of Swiss watches which are actually almost made in China. I mean, a lot of the parts will come from China, but they're put together here. So I guess it depends on how much of it is Swiss, and then it's Swiss made. I'm starting to have the same thing over in North America and in other parts of the world. But the whole label thing slowly starts to make one wonder, what is true? Oh my goodness, did I just get into talking about what is truth? No, we will not get into that, because this would be a vlog that would last a long time, and I'd probably make a lot of enemies. But the whole thing is about the labeling. Yeah. I guess also is that there's also coming up to a point where people are going to say not only Swiss made, but made by Swiss hands. We're getting at that because it's the whole discussion about immigration, I should say, uh, which is creating all what's going on right now in the world, in a way, isn't it? Patriotism, pride. Um, like, where does it start? Where does it stop? Um, I've had a discussion like we've been in Switzerland for more than 30 years now. Children are born here. They speak like the Swiss, but and so nobody like gives them any flack. But we still get Mrs. DC and myself. We'll still get, we're called the Canadians. People call us the Canadians until we die. I mean, it doesn't matter that we have the Swiss passport for years now and have paid probably more taxes than a lot of people, and own a home and whatever. But I don't know how many generations it takes. There's been discussions here. It's like, with 3 generations of children born here, they're going to start calling you Swiss. So where does it come into that? It's like we have, as I would say, many countries, a lot of the unappreciated jobs, let's call it that way, are done by foreigners. And that's a pretty common practice, isn't it? So should we be glad? I guess we should, actually. Um, but then, when one starts talking about the high tech stuff, they like to have it done by people from the country, done in the country. Yeah, complex, isn't it, in a way? Uh, where is the difference between opening acceptance towards others, and where is the time when you got to say enough is enough? Like sometimes we used to have an expression here which was not all, which bordered on racism at times, but it was like our boat is full, meaning that we couldn't take any more even if we wanted to. So I get that. Yeah, it's a complex discussion, isn't it? I'm thinking about stories. I was going to probably make a video soon about talking about the past. I have said that once. I mean, like, when we were kids living on the American border, uh, barely even seen in our life aside from on television, at least not in the flesh. It was a dark skin, a black person. The world has changed, like I say, but we're fascinated with that. I mean, when I went to university and started to meet up with people from other countries, it was fascinating. It really was. And now, in today's world, other countries more and more becoming a threat. We're worried. We don't really want to meet people from other countries. Is that true? We probably don't want to meet people from certain other countries. That's more true. Hmm. More you talk about this thing, more complex it gets. And more difficult it is not to end up having a discussion that might border, for some people, on extremist views, and trying to work out what are the type of things that you need in a country to move forward, and what type of things and people or what in a country do you want to have. I mean, actually, I think that's maybe it. We all want to have a country that we have, I would say, an ideal country. And having an ideal country, whatever that's supposed to mean, means that you have certain preset values. So how do you go about creating that? And how do you go about excluding? That is a real touchy subject, isn't it? I don't even know if I should say what do you think, because it's a really touchy subject that if you're going to ask me if I have answers, no, I don't have the answers. I certainly don't. I don't think any of us do actually right now. Not an easy one. And it's definitely not an easy one for somebody who has emigrated to discuss it. Because once you've become part of the country, like here I say, we'll always be like the foreigners, the Canadians. And at the same time, we're very much part of this country. So, how do you discuss that without people looking at you and say, hey, how can you dare to say that? Well, I'm turning around in circles. But it's just kind of like I'm talking to myself and I'm talking to you. And of course, the only difference is that if you were really, really right in front of me, you'd be throwing in interjections and we would having more of a discussion in a monologue. But maybe we can get a discussion going. Okay, I didn't even expect that vlog to go in that direction. Guess it did, by drinking a foreign beer. Oh, anyway, BC signing off. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.